they stuck with him far longer than what a lot of other clubs would have.
He needs to go to the continent.
If he's desperate to get a Premier League job, he might have to go and earn one by going and winning the Championship.
Let's talk what's next for Brendan then, Chloe. What do you think?
To be perfectly honest, I'm not too sure what I feel like he needs a little break, because for whatever reason, his voice wasn't having an effect in that dressing room. Take a little break away from football. I mean, saying that, I wouldn't say he's odds on for Spurs or the Chelsea job, but there's weirder things that has happened. And if both of them wait until the summer to actually sign someone and bring someone in, then you just never know. He's had a little bit of a break and he can come back and he can head straight into it. But for me, I see him going back to a place like Leicester, City, Celtic. My God, sort me. Someone like them again, because I'm just not sure where he ends. Maybe Southampton. Maybe that's too low for him.
He's not going to be a Championship manager.
Oh, you think Southampton again though? Okay.
Have you seen Southampton?
No, I think I've seen them.
Well, yeah, who knows? But I think
Southampton are currently 16th in the form table, so much better than
Leicester.
Bottom Leicester.
Can I guess? I think I wouldn't be shocked if De Zerbi or Frank moved from Brighton or Brentford, and I think I could see Rodgers sliding into either of those jobs. I wouldn't be shocked if, like, for example, if Spurs don't get Nagelsmann, I wouldn't be shocked if they go to Brighton for him. And then I could see Brendan moving into there.
Isn't that mad that Brendan wouldn't be higher above him in the pecking order? I mean,
It
it's just
should
like a
be,
recency
but
bias thing.
It's the end of the season. Good luck selling Tottenham fans on him. They couldn't sell him on Nuno, you know what I mean? Because it was like, are we sure? A lad who's just been sacked for nearly getting Leicester relegated needs the man for us. He needs to go and build. I don't even know if Brighton would be happy with it, like Brighton fans and Brentford fans, but it feels like at that level. But you're right. Maybe he could be when he goes abroad.
Yeah.
Like, he speaks Spanish, doesn't he? He's travelled the world, like maybe abroad. But when you hire Brendan Rodgers, you I don't think there's any footy fans who particularly like the fella, because go back to the cringe thing. Like, he is a bit of that, and automatically you're on a. Rafa gets a little bit of this. If you're not a nice personality, people don't gravitate towards you. There's less enthusiasm, even despite you.
I think we're being a bit harsh on Brendan's personality. I don't think he's as bad as.
I think he's cringe. I think everyone thinks he's cringe. Like Cringe City.
I think the internet thinks he's a bit like that, but I think he is in person. He's not that in person.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But the fans don't know him in person. You're lucky enough to have spoken to
No,
guy,
but I mean, but it's about buying from the players is the point, isn't it? I agree that might grow tiresome over a period of time, but I think he could walk into most football clubs, have an upbeat spirit. He's got a tactical way of playing. He's quite clear in what he wants from people, and players do buy into that. Go on, Chloe.
I was about to say, there was an interview this season a while back where James Maddison came out and said we've got to do it for Brendan Rodgers, and he was talking about how the players weren't putting in enough effort and how it wasn't even just for themselves, it was for Brendan, and you can clearly see he was respected in that way. I think at some stage though, like, fair play to Leicester as well, because they stuck with him far longer than what a lot of other clubs would have, and they've came to a situation in which if they had longer in the season, they'd have kept him if but it's come down to 11 games left, whatever it is, and they're like, look, if he gets the next 3 wrong, we're seriously in trouble. And fair play to him, he won Leicester City an FA Cup. That is a brilliant achievement, and yet it didn't end the way he wanted them. Maybe he stayed there a little bit too long, but there'll still be clubs who want him, and there'll be clubs where he can go. I'm just not sure he stays in England, because I don't know who in the Premier League.
You're Brendan, where would you go? What are you looking for in your next job?
I'll be honest, right? If I was him, and I mentioned this one before, I think if Crystal Palace do stay up, then I think Crystal Palace wouldn't be a bad option for him. Because obviously Vieira tried to put in a certain style of play. I think
I liked Vieira.
He could do something like that. I think there'll be teams sniffing around Vincent Kompany, and Burnley coming back into the league might be looking for a new manager, which would be a little bit of an outside shout, because Kompany's obviously done an incredible job there. It wouldn't surprise me if someone like Tottenham was sniffing around him at the end of the season, Vincent Kompany, to be honest with you. So they could be coming into the league looking for a new manager. Failing that, I think Brendan's got big enough balls to go abroad and work. And he's shown that. Right, I know it's only moving to Celtic, but I think he's a student of the game, Brendan. Or certainly likes to believe that he is.
He's not got it. And this is the thing, is where Steven Gerrard, for me, got it wrong. We obviously mentioned him. because he's just too tied to the Northwest and too tied to his family in some regards. Brendan doesn't have that. He doesn't have the young family thing, does he? He needs to go to the continent. He needs to go and find a job.
Like Moyes did, didn't he? And came back and
obviously it wasn't like he tore up trees at Sausage.
No, but he got away. Yeah. He got a job because if no one's going to hire you now in England, you can't just sit around for 3 years. You need to go and do something. He needs to keep himself ticking over.
Exactly. He needs, for me, and I said this at the time about Gerrard, he needed to go to Portugal. Go and try and get, I mean, it might not be available, but you want to, if you can get a job at Benfica, Porto, or Sporting, you're going to be in the Champions League every season, and you've got a chance of winning the league. And then all of a sudden, you've taken what you've learned in Scotland, you're getting more regular European football, you're playing at a slightly higher level with a better calibre of player, a little bit more budget to play with, and then you may be ready to make that step. I mean, look, he could get lost in that midsection because you look at...
Right now, that's not a bad option for him.
Yeah.
It's a great option, mate.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably he might not be good enough to get that at this point because of the damage that Leicester. What is the name of Jurgen Klopp's best mate who is back in...
Oh, the old Huddersfield.
Oh, no.
No, the old Huddersfield manager.
Wagner,
yeah. Is he Norwich? Is he
Norwich?
Yeah. He might find that's where he ends up. Though this is where his next move is massive. He goes in the Premier League and he goes to Crystal Palace, or he goes to one of those teams that again have got a small fan base and the ceiling's even lower than Leicester's. Where you going from there? You know what I mean? He's got more to lose. He needs to go and get lost somewhere in Europe.
Could he do the Rafa thing where just go and piss the Championship?
Maybe.
Chris mentioned company. I just thought to know. Company's stock is...
Has he done that? And he
did with Swansea.
Didn't really piss it with Swansea, but he...
I mean, they were the best team, weren't they?
Yeah.
Maybe that. I don't know. I'm thinking, what's the best way for them to get back in Premier League?
It's ego for Rodgers, I think, that would probably put him out to that.
Because Wagner's tried it and he's struggling with Norwich a little bit, but like, I'm just thinking, if he's desperate to get a Premier League job, he might have to go and earn one by going and winning the Championship. And I think whoever goes down this season's going to have a good chance of coming straight back up. You know, if Bournemouth go down, does he fancy a year with Bournemouth and try and get them back up? I don't know, but I'm with you. I think he should go abroad. No. I think he is. I think who knows, because footy's mad, of course, but like, I think his ambitions, if his aim was to have another top 4 club, he can't manage Liverpool. He's never going to manage Man United because he's managed Liverpool. I'd be shocked if he did that. I just don't see how he's ever going to get to the level.
He's going to end up in the Istanbul team that's in a turmoil in Turkey.
Yes.
Whichever one of the Istanbul teams is failing.
Manager,
Or Besiktas if they're doing shit instead.
Oh, Galatasaray.
Yeah. Whichever one of them is deemed to be the shittest at that point and got a good chance of winning the title.
Yeah, he's just not got the right temperament for Turkey, I don't think. I mean, to be fair, at least he needs his teeth doing again. He's and his hair doing, he's laughing, isn't he?
He's been there before, obviously.
Big shot.
He's got links.
If I was Brendan Rodgers, I'd have like me mood board laid out in me home office, and I'd have the Tottenham Hotspur badge or the Chelsea badge up there and go, they're the last 2, maybe Newcastle, and say they're my last 3 chances of getting into a top English side. How do I go about doing that? And as to the point, he's got too much baggage to go to a mid-level Premier League team, I think, because I don't know how much you can reboot them. Whereas, you're right, a little bit of mystique and allure. People are hearing that he's doing good things over in Germany or in Holland or, you know, in
Where for Graham Potter? He was in Sweden before.
You might just find that he ends up in China on loads of dough, you know.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Xabi Alonso has done boss things with Leverkusen. And Frankfurt was the team that came to mind, and I don't know how Frankfurt are doing, so don't ask me that. But instantly I thought, go to Germany, go to a Europa League club, because I think the Champions League might be a little step too far at this moment in time. Go and do that with the Chelsea or the Newcastle or the Spurs in the future. But I was thinking go to a Europa League club, and whether that is obviously, I think Sporting it was who knocked Arsenal out. They're not going to sack their manager in this moment.
Has anyone been sacked by a Premier League team, a mid-table Premier League team, and then gone on to get a top job in the Premier League?
Not that I can think of, you know.
Somebody might be able to scream at the.
I mean, maybe Ranieri, but he took Leicester there. You know, like. If you look at Man United is an exception because they have one manager forever, but like it's very rare you get sacked. And then,
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Cardiff,
to an extent, maybe, yeah. But again, there was ties to Man United. There was obvious tie. Mm-hmm. Rodgers does have Chelsea ties. I get that, but like I think when you fail, like Gerrard's going to find this, when you fail in the middle of the Premier League, if your aim was that, you've got to do something seriously special somewhere else to get back up there now, because there's blots on your record now.
No, I agree.
Go to Portugal, enjoy the sun, maybe win a couple of trophies. But bear in mind, I reckon the Portuguese league is more competitive than some of the other leagues out there.
But that's what it's like. Go and do the Eredivisie. I mean, again, it's tough to get it. You've got to be a PSV or you've got to be an Ajax, realistically, if you want to have a bash at that. But go and do something where it's got Scottish League vibes, where the odds are a bit more in your favour. The Premier League is hands and none. What are you going to do? It's fucking ridiculous.
12 managers have been sacked like it's a bloodbath.
Too many big teams with ambitions beyond their station in that league to make a success of yourself, unless you've got a huge backer behind you. And he kind of had a bit of that with Leicester. Did all right, and it's gone too long.